The Inkhatha Freedom Party launched its election manifesto yesterday in Durban. IFP President Velenkosini Hlabisa promised, among other things, to reserve entry-level jobs for South Africans and to reclaim the township economy by returning all spaza shops to citizens. He also addressed the issue of illegal immigration. He says its economic impact remains one of the biggest electioneering points ahead of the May 29th polls, and the IFP's manifesto launch was no different. Hlabisa has called on South Africans to rally behind the 13-point plan, which promises jobs and service delivery, among other things. He now joins us to unpack this further. Mr. Hlabisa, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. Let's start off with the poll that we are running this morning based on the proposal that you're making in your manifesto, and this is in relation to countries should pay for the services being rendered by our public health facilities to their nationals. This is now foreign nationals in South Africa. And I see so far of the people that have responded positively to that, close to 60% or just over 60% of the respondents so far voting in favor of the suggestion that you have made. What does this tell you, number one? But also the MEC for Health in Limpopo, Dr. Popira Mutuba, had spoken about this before, and she had said that this has been a discussion at a national level for years now, and nothing has happened.
Thank you very much, Adrian, as well as the listeners of the radio stage of the Newzroom Afrika. The IFP, as we came out very clearly yesterday, is because we are not afraid to make bold decisions, and when given an opportunity, we will definitely implement what we have promised. We will not end at a discussion level. The way the foreign nationals are being treated in South Africa, it indicates we have a government that is not committed sometimes in what they do, because they can't even document them. They can't ensure that our borders are not porous, and they cannot ensure that even those whom they know are working in various sectors in South Africa, there is no follow-up done by the government. That is why there are people who even take chances and use the opportunity, unfortunately very wrongly, because the IFP is completely against xenophobia. But we are not afraid to say South Africans must come first in every respect.
So how do you see it play out? Let's say somebody comes from Malawi, the person is undocumented, and by the way, can I just get clarity here? Is it only for undocumented, or does this include documented foreign nationals as well?
The documented foreign nationals will differ in category, but like people who are seeking asylum, it will be hard to cause their respective countries to take responsibility because they are running away for a reason. But there are people who might be in South Africa, well documented, are doing certain jobs like teachers, engineers, nurses, whatever category. The cost of those people, which if they cannot carry themselves, their respective countries must carry.
Okay.
On the question of undocumented, people who are undocumented should be assisted to go back to their countries if they are not seeking asylum or are not on a special program in South Africa.
Okay. Let's say whether the person is documented amongst the list that you've counted there, people who are here perhaps maybe even on a work visa, and for the people who are undocumented. How do you envisage this happens? Somebody comes from Malawi, gets services at the Helen Joseph Hospital, then what happens?
Now, it's very easy, Andrian, because the government should have a system. Once we have discovered that this is a foreign national, you must not prevent him, irrespective whether documented or not documented, to get the services in the hospital or clinic, because life matters. But once you have discovered this is a foreign national and is here for whatever reason it is, there should be a clear program. The government can do it to follow up with a respective country that we have a person coming from your country We have assisted this person, and there will be a discussion first between government to government to ensure that if your national is within our boundaries, we will take care in terms of health if needs be, but we will request that a respective country takes the bill. This will be a government initiative involving the counter governments in the neighboring countries. It can be done. It only needs a committed government to do it in the interest of ensuring that we do not spend more on people who are not South Africans and get nothing in return.
Yeah. How do you verify the country of origins when the person doesn't have any documentation? How are you able to verify that this particular individual is from a set country that he says that he is from? And also considering the problem of population count on the continent, which is a major issue, and that's the reason why we haven't implemented as yet the universal passport.
The South African government, Andren, is aware of the foreign nationals we have in South Africa. This should be a coordinated program between the local government, the provincial government, and the national government.
Sure, but how do you know which country they're from? That's the question. Sure, you would know that they're not on our population list, but how do you verify which country this person is from? If the person says that they are from Malawi, how do you verify that?
Adrian, if you conduct this program not in an aggressive manner, but involving them, persuading them that we are not wanting to fight against you, but we want to assist you, you cannot fail to get the correct information eventually. It cannot be probably done in 6 months or 5 months, but over a certain fixed period. If you want to get everyone accountable, where are you coming from, so that we document you correctly, ensure that your borders are controlled, you do not every day get new people while we are trying to solve the other people. It only needs program from the government to deal with the issue of foreign national in order to eventually document every person within the country.
All right. The 3,000 Rand stipend for unemployed graduates, how much do you think that's going to cost the fiscus? Where does the money come from?
South Africa is spending a lot of money on wrong initiatives. One thing that we will consider, we do not need all the deputy ministries in South Africa. You may need 1 or 2, but the rest we don't. You close down, you cut down the bloated cabinet as a first priority area. Some of the ministries, you don't need it. The Minister of Electricity, we don't need it, but we are spending millions in that ministry because there is a lot of duplication. South Africa is not spending its money prudently. If you can sit down very closely, look at how much money disappears in the hands of corrupt officials with no consequence management. It's billions of money, if not trillions, that you can save, and you refocus that money in creating job opportunities, in looking at the grants for children, senior citizens, and graduates. You are not going to place graduates permanently on a grant program, but in the meantime, while they are pursuing opportunities to get a job, you must assist them, because it is a frustration, Adrian, to get a graduate sitting at home, not getting even a cent while he or she is looking for a job. There is a plenty of money placed wrongly and spent wrongly in our country. You need prudent spending and focus on areas that will bring relief to categories that suffer unnecessarily in South Africa.
Yeah. Mr. Hlabisa, a quick final question. Of course, important to the election is the credibility of the elections and the ability of the IEC to deliver on its constitutional mandate. Does the IFP agree with the decision that has been taken by one of your members to the multi-party charter, the Democratic Alliance, writing to the United States that they must come and observe the elections in the country because they fear that there could be that if the ANC is pushed below the 50% threshold, that we could find a situation where there's a refusal to give power over to the political parties that may have won?
Andrian, I don't foresee the ANC refusing to give power when they lose power. But we have seen it, and during the local government, they lost a number of municipalities and they relinquished power, and they will do that. That is the one area. But the area of the international monitors, whether a country or an NGO, what are you fearing if you are not going to be rigging elections? Why are you worried that there will be an extra eye? I don't see a problem in inviting whoever to come and ensure that elections were free and fair, unless you know you want to do the rigging in the elections. And that has nothing to do with you might refuse to get out of power. If you were voted out by people, no matter how you can refuse, people will push you out. We have seen it. You have seen it in the municipal level, and we saw it in Western Cape. We will see it in KwaZulu-Natal, in Gauteng. I don't foresee anyone refusing. The issue of international monitoring of elections should not be an issue. What are you afraid of being exposed? If you say it worries you when external invitations are done, for me, I don't see any problem on what the DA is doing, and I don't know why the ruling party gets worried unless they know they are up to something.
Okay, that is the leader of the IFP, Velenkosini Hlabisa, speaking to us there about the 13-point plan that they launched during the manifesto launch ahead of the elections that are taking place on the 29th of May.